Well, hello scrappers, gold lovers. Welcome back to my channel. Mike here. Time to introduce you to my latest invention. This is my own homemade flail mill. Now, I have a lot of videos out there already of me using the Mighty Mill flail mill that I bought. And it's a great little mill. It's going to be very useful. It's portable. It's lightweight, and it works great. But it's really not made for production use. There's a limit to how much stuff you can put through it, the size of stuff you can put through it, the lifespan of the hammers, you know, and in the warranty, it says right in the warranty, if you use this for production, the warranty is null and void. So, it's for sampling only. I wanted something that was more for production, okay? Yeah, I don't have to worry about voiding the warranty on this thing because, hey, I designed and built it. Anything that I break on it, I can repair or replace. Easy. All right. So I've been working for the last few months on building my own flail mill, and I'll give you a kind of a look around it here. You can't really see much through with the big front plate on it here. It's got a big feed tube up top. It's got a bend in it to prevent kickback. I've got a 1 horsepower motor driving it right now. The 1 horse motor is a little underpowered. I may up this to 1.5 or 2 horse motor, or I may go with a gas engine, which is, you know, I was really thinking gas engine might be a good idea. That would make this thing more portable. Okay? Because I could actually slip this in the back of one of our pickup trucks and head out into the wilderness with it and process a lot of material. So that's a possibility. But we'll see how well it does with the 1 horse motor, because that's what I've got at the moment before we upgrade it. So this thing was built mostly with stuff I got from the scrap yard. Actually, various scrap yards. Some square tubing up here for the inlet tube. This is a gusset plate. I did buy some bearings. I bought some nuts and bolts. I 3D printed the outlet here, and my vacuum cleaner plugs right into that. So I can plug my vacuum in and pull the dust out. I've got a grid up here on top that will let air flow through, but prevents kickback a little bit. So the air will flow down through and out, and it'll bring the dust out, because this thing's going to turn the rocks into dust. At least that's the plan. It's a little rough. I might sandblast the rust off and paint it. But I want to get it to the point where it's working good first. But I'll give you a look at it from the side and explain a little bit about how it's built. So don't laugh at my welding. My welding is not that great. But I am getting better. Practice on a project like this helps. I did manage to cut and weld together the square tubing. So I've got a nice inlet chute, the chute's going in the back. This is a piece of 8-inch steel pipe right here. And I was lucky, I found a piece in the scrapyard that was already capped on the back with a 1/4-inch plate that somebody had welded in before they threw this thing out. So all I had to come up with was the front plate for this, and mount some studs on there, weld them on so I could bolt the front on. I got a big bearing on the front and the back, 7/8-inch shaft going through that's driven. Well, that's not a lot else to talk about unless I take the front cover off and I show you what the hammers inside look like that I've come up with, okay? So we'll do that. Let me get the front cover off. Okay, I got the cover off of it. We'll take a little look inside at the hammer arrangement I have. Now, as I said, this is a work in progress, so this may change. The problem I've been having is just using chains in here. The chains eventually shatter. They eventually break. Now, I did buy some high-strength chain, but then I was looking in the store when I was there buying the chain, and I saw these cable clamps. And I thought, wow, that would make a wicked hammer. That swinging around at the end of this piece of chain at 3,000 RPM, that would be a wicked hammer. That should pulverize pretty much anything. So I just welded the end of it there so that the nuts can't come loose. And yeah, should be pretty easy to change out if I need to. I can just cut it off with bolt cutters and weld another one on there. So hopefully this part will take the brunt of the punishment rather than the chains. The chains are bolted to the central shaft. I got 2 hammers on one side of the shaft, 2 hammers on the other side of the shaft to try and keep it balanced. I may have to do something about the back hammers because they can get into a position where they jam up and the machine won't start. So I will have to probably do something about that. Not sure what yet. Maybe just see if I can move the hammer in a little further, and then it won't interfere with these bolts back here that are holding the rear bearing on. So that's what we got here. These things are going to be spinning insanely fast in there. The rock's going to come down this chute in the back, and it's going to get the snot beat out of it before it makes its way up to the front where the exit is. So that's the theory. Like I say, it's a work in progress. Had a few problems with it, not just breaking chains, other stuff. The screen on the front gets plugged, but we're getting there. Every new iteration works a little bit better, so we'll see how this works. Let me put the cover back on, and maybe we'll feed a few rocks in and see what's going to happen. There, I got the front cover back on. It's held on with 4 3/8 wing nuts and washers and lock washers. And have you ever seen one of these? You know what this is? I'll give you 3 guesses what this is. This is wing nut wrench. Allow you to tighten your wing nuts down or loosen them, whichever you need to do. And you know where I got this? This came with my Mighty Mill. That was a nice thing they included with it, because you got wing nuts, big wing nuts, same size as these, for holding the grinder onto the Mighty Mill. And this wing nut wrench just comes in so handy for working on this thing too. I can tighten these down really good, and then when I need to take the front cover off, I can loosen them again. It's a great thing. Get yourself a wing nut wrench. Okay. So I've got a piece of material like this as the screen on the outlet in here. Now this has 3/16 inch diameter holes. They may be a little small because they tend to plug up. But yeah, you can see the screen up in there. I may have to change that out for something else. Maybe some slots instead of holes. Maybe a little bit wider. I don't know, because it does tend to plug up. And then once it plugs up, you can't really do anything unless you take the front cover off, which is a pain in the you-know-what. So I need to fix that. But like I said, this thing's a work in progress. It's got issues, and I need to address some of them. This is going to be the first on-camera test of it actually crushing rocks. I've done some other off-camera tests. I've had some trouble with it, shattering chains and whatnot. So we'll see how it does with my new hammers, and we'll see if the motor has enough oomph to actually turn those rocks into dust. So we'll see. Let's get the vacuum cleaner hooked up to this thing and try feeding a few rocks through it. See how it goes. Okay, I've got everything hooked up. The lighting out here is not great, so I hope you can actually see what I'm doing. I've got my little bucket vacuum down here hooked up to the outlet of the Flail mill. Now the Flail mill, the way I designed it, actually, as the chains swing around like this, they actually pull air down through the inlet grid and blow it out here. But we're going to put the vacuum on it to help that process along and capture all the dust that comes out here. So I need a way to capture it so it'll wind up in the vacuum down there. And I got a bag of rocks over here I want to process. So we'll run some of these through it and see if it actually works. Now this is, like I said, this is his first on-camera test. And this is the absolute very first test ever of my new hammers that I just showed you. So this might work, it might not work, it might become a blooper reel, it might blow up in my face, you never know. You know, hey, I could get 1 million views if it blows up in my face, I suppose. So we'll give it a shot and we'll see what happens. I'll zoom in a little bit over here so you can see me feeding the stuff into the thing. Get good focus on it. Now, I have been so busy trying to perfect the innards on this thing that I haven't put the power switch on it yet. I need to do that. So I just gotta plug it in like this. And Let's see, we'll be off. Let me open that up so I can drop some rocks in. And it's going. Turn the vacuum on. Okay. Whoa! Okay, it's making some weird noises, but it sounds like it is destroying the rocks within a second or so of me dropping them in. See what it looks like here. Well, you know what? The screen is not plugged up, so that must mean that we are pulling the resulting dust out. Now, I also hear some loud buzzing, and I suspect that's one of the hammers, probably the back one, nicking one of the mounting bolts for the bearing. I might have to see if I can move the whole shaft forward a little bit. I might have to relocate the motor a little bit to keep the belt straight. So, yeah. But let's have a look inside the vacuum cleaner and see if we've been collecting the dust. I hope we have been. I hope we've been converting these things to dust and collecting it in here. Ooh, look at that. Yeah. I hope that's showing up. Yeah, we got a pile of dust in here. Ooh, I think I've got something that works now. It may need a little refining. May need a little more refining, but I think it's actually working. Hey, while it's in the mood to work, let me crush up a little more of this stuff. This is, this stuff I'm crushing here, this is, samples that my wife and I took from an exposed quartz vein we found out in the Wyoming mountains. I was out there rock hounding a year or so ago, and I saw this vein cropping out of the side of the mountain, and we went back a couple of months ago and took some serious samples, took our rock hammers with us, took some sample bags and sampled it, and actually found some gold in this in an earlier video. I'll put a link to that earlier video in the upper right, where I crushed up some of this with my Mighty Mill and got some gold out of it. So I'm going to crush up a few more. Oh, look at that nice piece right there. I don't know if that's showing up. It's got malachite staining on it. That's a big piece. I want to feed that through and see if this mill handles it. Let me reconnect this, and we'll feed some more through since it's in the mood to work today. Yeah. I definitely gotta bolt this thing down better. These clamps tend to loosen up from the vibration over time. Okay. Okay, I'm going to have to take it apart and see what is banging around in there so bad. Hopefully we haven't ruined one of the hammers. But it's working. Oh yeah. we got a lot of dust in there now. It is turning those rocks into dust, which is exactly what I wanted. That'll liberate the gold out of them. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Maybe we'll do a little panning at the end of this video and see if we can find any gold in that stuff. Okay, let me take the front cover off and have a peek inside and see what, if anything, damage we've done to it. Use my snazzy wing nut wrench here to loosen these things up because I tighten them down really good. Tighter than I can get loose by hand. Anyway, there we go. Especially with the lock washers on there, they really hold these things on tight. See what's inside. Good, bad, or ugly? I don't know. Doesn't sound too badly destroyed. I mean, when I was running this in the past, you know, with my early hammer setup, which was just chains, I could tell when a chain had shattered. The noise would be pretty obvious that I'd shattered a chain. So I don't know, we might just be nicking one of the mounting bolts in there. Ooh. This thing weld itself on or what? Might need a hammer. Never had it stick like that before. Huh. Weird. Ah, there we go. I've never had that stick on there like that before. Galled the end of the shaft here. What do we got in here? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4 hammers. I can see where it's been nicking this bolt back here, so that's probably part of the problem. Probably this back hammer nicking this bolt from time to time, or the chain nicking it. I might have to move the whole shaft this way a little bit. Yeah, there's some balls of metal in here. I think some of my welds have failed. That doesn't look like a weld there. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's the corner of the hammers up here busting off. Oh yeah, they've taken a beating. So there's probably going to be a fair amount of steel, bits of steel. Yeah, those hammers have taken a beating. You know what I thought about using? Was little padlocks in here. You know, see how long they last to hammer this rock. But you know, once all of the easily broken off bits come off, these might last for a while. Oh, I don't know. This one here looks pretty shattered. This one here, yeah, these hammers may not work as hammers for a while. This one here is about to fall apart after only processing a few rocks. So my quest for a decent hammer continues. I might have to custom make something. Yeah, this one right here's about shot. That's been rubbing against something. I don't know what. It's all worn right there. Weird. I don't know what it could be rubbing against. Huh. They've all got some weird wear patterns on them. Okay, so it's not quite ready for prime time yet. I need to work on my hammers. This one here is pretty much shot. Another rock or two and it would fall apart. Surprisingly, the others don't look too bad. I'm a little surprised that the front one's taking the brunt of the beating. Oh, you know what? I think it's hitting the nuts on the inside of this. Huh. Okay. Maybe that's why it's so beat up. So I probably can't move the shaft this way. Alright. Well, anyway, I got some dust I can pan out, if nothing else, so we can see how this thing. We can see if we got any gold out of the rocks that this thing did crush before I shut it down. So we'll do that. Yeah, sooner or later I'll get this thing running the way I want it. I just got to find more durable hammers and tweak it a few other ways. Then it'll be the Mighty Mill's big brother. Although, you know what? I haven't given this thing a name yet. It needs a name. You know what? I think I'm going to throw it out there to you folks. Leave a comment with what you think I ought to name this. And you know what? There might even be a prize for the best name that somebody comes up with, okay? Maybe I'll give away one of my mystery boxes to you for free. Gratis. Alright, so think up a good name for this. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think I ought to call it. Okay, let's get this stuff panned out that my crusher actually managed to crush before it decided to start self-destructing. So I think I got everything I need here. Got my favorite pan, my loop so I can see the fine gold. Got some jet dry. I need to put some of this in the water. That'll help break up the surface tension. Keep fine gold from floating. Yes, fine gold will float. Don't argue with me on that. People like to argue about that. Obviously people who have never tried to pan fine gold. Got my mining magnet because I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of steel in here, bits of steel from the mill. Here's all the powder. Let me get it in my pan here. Oh yeah. There's a lot of steel there. But you know what? I'm pulling a lot of powder up too, so maybe I will wait until I get it panned down a little bit, and then I will pull the steel out in the water, and that should leave the debris behind, or leave the rock bits behind. Oh yeah, this thing does as good a job as the Mighty Mill on turning this stuff into a fine powder. It's so fine it's actually a little hydrophobic. That's another reason I put the jet dry in. Help with hydrophobic material. Look how red it is. It's obviously got some rust in it from broken down sulfides. It's a good looking vein cropping out of the side of that mountain. I think the next time we're in Wyoming, we're going to go back there and we're going to get some more of that stuff. Because like I said, we actually found some gold in this. So, yeah. Go get some more. Let me get it stratified really good here. And pan the top off. The heavy should have gone to the bottom. I'll stop it, stratify it again. Pan some more off the top. Now that we got some water in there, let me see if I can pull the steel out cleanly. Yeah, that's a little better looking. That's a little more clean. Let me drop it and pick it up again, and yeah, I got even less. Yeah, the mill was definitely trying to self-destruct there. Some big chunks of steel there and lots of filings. I mean, it's normal to get some filings from any mill, even the Mighty Mill slowly self-destructs as it works. But boy, that's a lot of steel. We were definitely having some issues there at the end. Worked great for about 35 seconds though, didn't it? Got to work on endurance. Get some better hammers in there, and maybe move some things around a little bit so it's not beating up its bolts so bad. This is definitely the best pulverization I've got out of it so far. When I was just using chains, I wasn't getting this fine a grind. Those hammers, gotta have hammers. Something to use as a hammer on the end of those chains, and then you'll get a really, really fine grind. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Let me walk this stuff back some. Well, there's a lot of sulfides in there, that's for sure. I can see a line of sulfides up at the top. But I knew this stuff had a lot of sulfides in it. I mean, I could see them in the quartz as I was feeding it in. Yeah. Let me get my loop out and take a quick look at that before I Whoops, sorry to kick the tripod. I do that all the time with big size 13s. Yeah, take a quick look at that and see. What am I seeing there? Just sulfides, I guess. Oh, there's a really light colored rock there in amongst them. It looked like gold, but nah, it's just sulfides. Well, let me try to continue cleaning up these sulfides. We'll see if we get to any gold down underneath. So I did find gold in this stuff before. Oh yeah. I had a lot of gold, but a few flecks here and there. Like I said it before, if you want to find a lot of gold, you got to process a lot of material. It doesn't matter whether you're gold mining out in the mountains, or if you're urban gold mining in the urban jungle. You got to move a lot of material to find a lot of gold. Let me see if I can get a picture of that with my phone. It's probably not going to show up because the stuff's really fine and the loop's got really high magnification, but we'll give it a shot. Okay, we will give this a try. I don't know exactly what you're seeing because I'm out in the bright sun here. Look at the very top of that line. This is all sulfides, and I don't know how they're showing up on the phone, but they look like gold in my loop, but they're not. They're mostly pyrite, bits of pyrite that's been pulverized by the mill. But up along the top edge, right at the corner of the pan up there, there are some bits of fine gold. I've stratified them up to there. And I don't know if they're showing up at all on the phone. I can see them on the loop, but they are tiny. So yeah, there's not a lot of gold in here, but hey, I didn't run that much rock through the mill before it decided it wanted to self-destruct. So seeing any gold at all, I would say that ore we pulled out of there has a decent amount of gold in it. Okay, cool. So my monstrosity here actually works. It just needs some tweaking so it'll work for more than a few seconds before it starts self-destructing. But boy, it did a number on that rock. You know, these things spinning at 3,000 RPM in there, they were really destroying the rock almost instantly and pulverizing it into dust. The screen I have on this was not clogging up. So that tells me that this bulk of this stuff was getting pulverized into dust much smaller than the holes in the screen. Because I have had trouble with the screen plugging up before when I was just using chains and it wasn't pulverizing stuff so good. So yeah, this works really well when it wants to work. And remember, I'm depending on you people to give me a name for this thing, and there'll be a prize for the best name. Alright, so leave your name suggestions in the comments. And the next time you see this, hopefully I will have my hammer situation fixed, perfected, or at least something that'll last a little while longer than those. So watch for future videos where my unnamed monstrosity here stars in them, okay? Maybe it'll have a name by then. And if you found this video at all interesting, educational, informative, inspirational, whatever, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to see my future videos. There'll be lots of future videos starring the Mighty Mill. There will be future videos starring this thing. There'll be lots of gold recovery videos of all sorts in the future. So subscribe to see those future videos and press that little bell icon. YouTube wants you to press be notified when new videos come out. As a subscriber, you will be notified when I release a new video if you press that button. Check out my second channel, Electro Geek 64. Lots of interesting stuff going on over there. Lots of new content. So check it out. Like, subscribe there. Comment. Leave a comment there too. Let me know what you think of what I'm doing over there. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching this one. Bye.